How are you going to get a competitive edge in this market? We're going to talk about that in this video. Hi, I'm Sheila Cohoon with MI Local Realty, brokered by Real Broker. And in today's video, the competitive edge in today's market for buyers is appraisal waivers. Yeah, appraisal gaps are great, but appraisal waivers are so much better. Now, what is an appraisal waiver? An appraisal waiver allows qualified home buyers to skip the in person appraisal process when buying a home. Instead, the lenders will be using the data generated by an automated underwriting system to determine the value of the home based on the information it has collected from other recent home sales in the area. Now, what does that all mean? I know. You're like, wow, that was a lot of information. I don't really understand it. And I know some of you might have heard wah 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 wah, right? What that basically says is that the mortgage company will use the recent sales in the neighborhood to make sure that the purchase price that you offer on the purchase agreement is basically going to appraise for that or it'll appraise over that. Okay? And why do they use the recent sales? Because that's going to give you the closest information in pricing for your home that you're offering on. Now, when can you get an appraisal waiver done? Generally, you can get appraisal waivers done right from the start. What I mean is, you should be going to your mortgage person and you should be talking to your mortgage person about appraisal waivers. Ask your mortgage person, hey, how can I get an appraisal waiver done when I submit an offer? And they should tell you that you need a certain amount down. You need to give them the address in order for them to calculate if this particular home qualifies for an appraisal waiver. There may be some areas, um, maybe rural areas or things like that, that may not qualify for appraisal waivers because they don't have enough sale data. Okay. So you really should be contacting your mortgage person to find out if they can do an appraisal waiver for you when you go to offer on a house. Now, why does that give you an edge over somebody who doesn't have it or who does an appraisal gap? So, what happens when you give an appraisal waiver over an appraisal gap? An appraisal waiver is saying, seller, I'm offering you this in my purchase agreement to you. Let's say the home is going, you're offering on the home $285,000. And you're saying to the seller in an addendum, we will do an appraisal waiver on this home. So you're saying to the seller, basically through the purchase agreement and the addendum, hey seller, I'm going to offer you 285, and guess what? We're going to pay that regardless of anything. There's going to be no appraisal. We're going to go right to closing, and there's not going to be an appraisal needed, so it won't underappraise, it won't overappraise. The mortgage company is willing to give me a mortgage on this home for the purchase price I am giving you. Why is that a benefit to the seller? Because the seller doesn't have to worry about an appraisal coming in low. That is a big, huge red flag and a scary situation for most sellers. It's not because they think that their house is not going to appraise, it's because there may be some things that happen with appraisers that could cause appraisals to come in low. Now, if you have an appraisal gap guarantee, that used to be fantastic. And some people can do it if they have extra money. Now, what is an appraisal gap? An appraisal gap guarantee is basically bringing money, extra money, to the table for a gap in between the appraised amount and the purchase price. So if a buyer comes to the table with a purchase agreement that says 285, 285,000, here I'm giving you a purchase agreement for 285,000, and here's my addendum for, let's say, a $10,000 appraisal gap guarantee. What that is saying is, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I am going to give you $10,000 if the gap between the appraised amount and the purchase price falls short. Okay. So let's say the appraised amount comes in at 265 and their offer was 285 and they were bringing $10,000 to the table. Well, that's only going to bring it up to 275, right? 265 plus 10,000 is 275. So there was a gap of $20,000 and that buyer only has $10,000. So do you see why an appraisal gap is actually not as good as an appraisal waiver? Yeah, me too. So what I've done recently is worked with my mortgage person, Mike Hawker. Yep, right here. Yep, see him. His information is below. Oh, and so is a video he did on this exact thing, appraisal waivers. So go check it out. But wait, I want to finish this video and then go check it out after that. What we have done, Mike and I, we have reached out back out to our buyers and we've said, hey, let's get you in a position where when we're going to put an offer on a house, we can put an addendum together that does an appraisal waiver on the house, which puts us in a fantastic position to get the offer accepted right away. So let's recap over this whole thing. If you're a cash buyer, generally you're king, right? Unless your offer is kind of lower than somebody who has an appraisal waiver. If you have an appraisal waiver, you're pretty much next in line to a cash buyer because appraisal waivers is telling the seller, we are going to purchase your home for this price regardless. There's going to be no appraisal. We're going to get it to the closing table at this price. No questions asked. We're good to go. And how do you do that? Well, you're going to reach out to either my mortgage person or yours, and you're going to have a conversation about getting yourself set to get an appraisal waiver done on homes that you're going to offer on. Now, if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comment below. I'm happy to answer anything or direct you to my mortgage guy. Or if you want to just reach out to him, yep, his information's down there too. So go check it out. In this market, you have to have the edge no matter what. If you're not going to have an edge in this market, if you think you're going to come to the table with just an offer with no competitive edge, unfortunately, you're going to get bid out every single time. It's just a fact. I really came to the realization recently because we just kept getting outbid. And I said, how do I get my buyers in a stronger position to get their offers accepted? And really, I came to the realization that we need to get the appraisal waivers done. It's the only other option. So I worked with my buyers, my mortgage person, and we got it done. If you need it done and your mortgage person doesn't know about it, contact me or my mortgage person below, Mike Hawker. If you have any questions, contact me, Sheila Cohoon, at 586-713-6464, or you can check out my website at www.milocalrealty.com. Of course, you can email me at smc@milocalrealty.com. I hope you have an amazing day. And please, if you found this video very helpful, please comment below. I would love to hear comments about this video, good or bad. Take care. Have a great day.